All right. Well, welcome everyone to our first live streaming for our YouTube mentorship. We'll be live streaming today and watching NASDAQ see what we have for today. Give me 1 second while I set some stuff up. There we go. So we're going to be looking at NASDAQ for the day, or mostly, the full month, since NASDAQ's the only thing I trade. On the days that I'll be sending analysis videos, I want you guys to let me know if there's any other asset classes that you want me to analyze. Because during live sessions, I'm only going to be doing NASDAQ, but I'm thinking of doing a weekly analysis for other pairs too. I mean, we could do probably like Euro USD and GP USD, etc. for only analysis videos, but for live sessions, I think we should be doing just NASDAQ though. Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. So just you can let me know either on live streams or on my Instagram. Just send me a message and I'll take in consideration the asset classes that you want me to analyze for you guys. Yeah, this session is going to be recorded and I'll be it's actually live streaming on YouTube as well. So it's going to stay on YouTube also. But let's go ahead and look at NASDAQ real quick. Yep, you're welcome, Cynthia. So last week, we had pretty much a really nice up movement since last week. I had a one-on-one mentorship with a student of mine 2 weeks ago. And on the first week, I had mentorship with him, which was this week here on August 3rd. I mentioned how on Friday we had probably made a low of this whole downtrending session here, not session, but this downtrend here. I mentioned how on Friday we most likely had made a low, and we were probably going to start continuing upwards. And I might edit a video about that part where I mentioned it on the live stream with him, and how I mentioned that we were going to start going upwards. And as you guys can see, we had Friday here on the 23rd. We've been going upwards since. I believe we should still continue upwards for the rest of this week as well. We might come down just a bit just to take out the liquidity that is under these lows here. Hey, that's acceptable, and we could still continue up. But what I'm looking at mostly is for my higher objectives would be this high here. I believe that's where liquidity rests on the long term and where we should head towards. So that's where I believe we should be going. We did take a high here out, as you guys can see. I'll outline it for you guys here. We took a high out there, so that's why I'm saying we could consider that price can retrace. Just taking out this low here, and then resume going up higher. That's what I believe could happen. Or it could just stay consolidated here for a while and then resume higher anyways without any deep retracements. But since we did take a high, I mean, we could expect it to retrace a little bit more. And where can it retrace to? Well, to sell side liquidity. We just took out these equal lows. So, I mean, that could be enough for it to just keep on going higher. And we also have this low here as well, which is another area where it could possibly have a retracement down to. It's not necessary, like I keep mentioning, it's not necessary for us to retrace all the way down here. And in my opinion, it would actually be better if it doesn't, because that would mean that NASDAQ would be really, really strong to the upside. If it only just if it only takes this these equal lows like it just did, I mean, that's fine. That would be enough for it to resume going higher. But taking consideration that we could also come down here. So if you look at the market, it's been quite consolidated, right? There's really not much movements or not any good ranges to trade into as of now. We've just been consolidating in a range. So we're gonna have to just stick to very lower time frames and see exactly what can it possibly be doing. We'll just take brief for today and see what price action is telling or indicating us that it wants to do on the short term or the daily. If you go to the daily time frame, I mean, we did come down here further in imbalance here. So that's why I'm saying it's probably enough for it to go higher from there. It doesn't necessarily have to come down and fill this larger imbalance. But if it does, I would expect it just to trade just a little bit lower, not really fill all of this here. Maybe at the most hit the opening of this candle here. That's where we could head down for the downside as targets if we would be looking for sells. And then if we go down, and we go down to like 15 minutes and 30 minutes, I mean, price still looks very, very contracted. Like it's really consolidated still. There's like really nothing that we could actually do here. So on these types of insistence, I would prefer not to trade it at all because market's just been really too choppy, and I rather would not risk my own money to be in this type of markets. But we'll see if possibly in the next 15 minutes we could start heading outside of this range that it's created. But if you could see, all it's been doing is taking out lows, then taking out highs, then taking out back lows again. And currently we're inside of the middle of this range in here. So it's really zero probability for a high probability trade as of yet. We take a little bit more information on the 15-minute time frame. We could see that we had manipulated the highs here, made some equal highs, and then took out those highs with this high here. Came down. We had a break of market structure here. Okay. So with this high coming down here, we broke this low and breaking market structure, had a retracement. And if you take your fib, went above 50%. So that's enough for price to start coming back lower again. Once again, we took out this low here, breaking market structure once again. So we'll see if it continues down from here or if it wants to retrace back up, which it could be a possibility for it to retrace back up since we already took out this low. We could see it retrace back up. And if you look at 50% here, right at 50%, we have equal highs in here. So it could possibly want to come back up, take that liquidity out, and hit the high that we took out on the higher time frame over here. And it could possibly use that as resistance right there to continue heading lower for the lower objectives that I have here. Then again, if it trades through it and then continues higher, that's totally fine. That's actually would be better for the bull run or the bullish trend that I've been mentioning. Because like I mentioned earlier, it does not necessarily need to come down here. With just taking out these equal lows here is enough for price to just keep on going higher and take this high and reach out for the highs up here as well. But we'll see what we get here for today's session. So since we've been just taking highs and lows out here, we've recently taken these lows here. The most recent high would be this one here, which we just took out. And we're going to see if we expand to take these highs out right after now. Okay, since all the sell side liquidity has been taken, the only liquidity remaining would be buy side, which the short-term liquidity would be this one here, which we just took. And then we have these highs here, which we'll see if price starts reaching for those highs right now. And if we do pass through these highs here, then obviously the equal highs that I mentioned above here and these equal highs here as well would be where price would want to gravitate towards. Okay, so far took out that high, created higher high, then another higher high with this candlestick here. If it's going to want to come up for the buy side liquidity, it's going to have to really want to get up there higher right now. With a really nice up closed body, we should see this candle or the next close upwards and taking out the liquidity. If it starts retracing down in here, then it's most likely going to have to retrace back all the way down into this range or possibly below these lows here. But what we want to see is we want to see it just keep going higher from here and taking out the liquidity. So let's watch as soon as we take this high out right there, we want to see it start expanding up for the highs up here. Got very close there. Let's take a closer look at that. Got very close on taking that high out, but it didn't. So there we go. Now it took it out, so it should start expanding up quickly, reaching for the liquidity above these highs here. If it comes back inside, then it's not going to be good for the price being bullish. But we want to see it start heading up higher into the liquidity above these highs here. And just give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to go real quick for a glass of water because my throat's kind of drying out from the talking. But I'll be right back. Just give me about 15 seconds and then I'll be back with a glass of water. All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah, as you guys can see, we already took out the buy side liquidity, like I mentioned. And we should expand up to the equal highs in here, which I think it's pretty close to it. Yeah, so pretty much already got there. I think it tested the highest high here. So there we go. We've taken out this high, like I mentioned, would be the next area of liquidity where price should head towards. And now we've gone into these highs in here. Look how quickly it's starting to expand. It's got a lot more volume than earlier. So now that we've taken these equal highs, we're gonna have to wait and see what else price does, because it could start coming back like, yeah, just like it's doing right now. It could just start coming back inside of the range again. If you look down here, we left equal lows as well. So since it already took it highs out here and it took these equal highs here, it's probably not necessary for it to go all the way up here. And it could just come back down. And now we'll search for the sell side liquidity below these lows here. We got sell side there and sell side here. So if it's going to start heading down here, what I don't want to see is I don't want to see this candle come back anymore. It just has to start stretching down into the sell side. It should no longer go anywhere higher than the bodies of these candles here anymore at all. I don't even want to see this this candle create a new high for this candle anymore. So in other words, price should not go higher than that candle's high anymore, in my eyes. If it's gonna if it's gonna come down for the sell side, it should not go anywhere higher than that anymore. Should just keep expanding lower, reaching for the sell side here and here. And we have a little small imbalance here as well. So that could be an area where price could possibly treat it as resistance or support, sorry. But preferably we want to see it sliced right through it. And I don't think we have news today, do we? I think we had news until Asia session. Yeah, we don't have news until Asia session. We'll have some news tomorrow, but tomorrow I'll be doing live sessions with the Spanish community. So I decided that we're gonna do Tuesdays and Thursdays for English and Wednesdays and Fridays for Spanish. And then Mondays, I'll be uploading lessons to the YouTube channel. And the weekly reviews, I'll do those random. I'll probably do them on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday and Friday. So as you can see, this candle did not create a higher wick anymore. It just opened up, came lower. Next candle opened up as well, just traded lower. There's a lot of volume heading towards the downside. So we don't want to see price go anywhere higher than the body of this candle anymore. We want to see it stay below that and keep heading lower. And let's look at other time frames as well. We have a new 5 minute and 15 minute and 30 minute candle opening. And I mean, you could look at the market, and the market looks just like shit. Really, I mean, it's not going anywhere, but we've been able to so far outline what it's wanting to do on the 1 minute time frame. And we're able to do this throughout any other different time frames as well. Map out the direction of the market during the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hours, daily, weekly, and monthly. It's pretty easy to predict what market's going to do next. Once once you're really comfortable reading price action alone, right, without any indicators in your charts, and that's how it pretty much should be. You should never really have to have indicators in your charts to be able to read price action, because all what indicators are doing is telling you what has already happened on the charts or on the candlesticks. And I mean, I don't think you need an indicator to tell you what a candlestick has done, right? That's kind of absurd in a way. But I mean, some people just like having things to distract themselves in their charts. So it's all up to them, I guess. But for me, I would suggest to you that, I mean, it's way better just to have your charts clean without any indicators, just possibly levels, horizontal lines to indicate highs and lows, etc. But not really any indicators that you should have on the charts to be able to predict what price should be doing next. So far, price is still had a little small consolidation here, but it should still keep going lower. Like I mentioned, we took out the highs up here, right there, with this wick here. Came down low, came low really deep inside of the range again, and it started consolidating. So what it's doing here, it's pretty much distributing the orders. It could come back up high, tap on possibly this level here, and then resume going lower. Or it could just consolidate and then keep on going lower anyways. The only thing I don't like is that on the 3 minute time frame, we've actually came inside of an imbalance, but I don't think that should be too concerning. I mean, we should just keep on trading lower into the sell side. As you guys can see, we're once again have taken another low here out right there. Really took that low. So we do not want to see this candle start expanding higher. Okay, because if it takes out this high, that means it's probably gonna keep on retracing a lot higher than we would want it to. We want to see it remain below that high, essentially, if it's gonna keep on going lower. Let me just look at the other time frames real quick. I hope there's a lot of people smart enough not to be trading right now, because I can look at the market. The market's really shit right now. But yeah, let's see. So far we have not taken out the high, so that's good. As you can see. And you just want to see it come back down and recover all the movement of this up candle once again, and that would be good. That high should be remaining. We should not trade above that high, like I mentioned before, if it's going to keep on going lower. Okay, once we take these lows out again, we almost had it, but decided to work back up. But once we take these lows out again, we want to see it start really moving down now afterwards. Okay, so there we go. We took those lows out. And as you guys can see, we're starting to really show some willingness to head downwards. Like I mentioned before, we have this imbalance in here. It could act as resistance, like we could have a little bit of a detour there. But ultimately, I want to see it trade through it and head for the sell side if it's able to. If it rejects that and goes higher above this high, then I'm most likely going to be wrong about it going any much lower below the sell side. So yeah, it looks like it had a really nice reaction there on that imbalance. And it's heading up towards the highs here now. So it's possibly that it had made the low there. It could now possibly head up for new highs on the 15-minute time frame, the 30 and the 1 hour. We would really want to see it break above this level that I outlined here, if it's going to go higher. Because this coming down here, we took liquidity out below these lows here, came inside an imbalance, went all the way up, broke structure by taking this high out. That's why I had mentioned earlier, if we're going to keep on going low, we don't want to see this high get broken. Because if not, it's going to start lining ahead a lot higher than we actually wanted to. So far we broke that high. It looks like this candle went higher than this one. So we'll see what this next candlestick does if it keeps on going higher. if it's gonna go lower still, it's gonna have to reject this level right away. Like it can't go above it and keep on going higher if it's gonna go lower. It's gonna have to just test it, and then right away just try to go lower to the sell side, because if it tests it and it just keeps on going higher, it's gonna want to go make a new higher high. So now that we've taken this buy side here, the remaining buy side would be above here now. That's if we go anywhere higher than that blue level that I outlined earlier. So currently we have buy side above these highs here and sell side below these lows here. Which I would still prefer to see the sell side get rated. And all this here would be, like I mentioned earlier, it should just be like a small detour or a small speed bump in price action to keep on heading lower. If you look at price, we have a little small imbalance here. I had a little bit of a harder time waking up today for some reason. I usually wake up really earlier than what I woke up today, but we're still here. Just starting to yawn though. So we want to watch this level. Yeah, okay. We want to see how price trades into this level in here. If it's gonna go lower, it's gonna have to reject it. I don't want to see price start expanding above it. You could analyze in any session, but for trading, I mean, analyzing would be best to do it on the higher time frames in any session, because I mean it's pretty much, it doesn't really matter if price fluctuates while you're analyzing. But for trading, I'd suggest that it's best for you to trade it during the New York session. I mean, you can do like the London session and all, but for me personally, I only trade the New York session. And it's a lot better because there's a lot more movement and the spreads are also smaller. Anything past 9:30 a.m. New York time, the spreads get a lot smaller than any other session like London or Asia. Okay, so you guys can see how we reached that level and right away we started rejecting. So I like that. I like how we got that there. So hopefully we could start remaining bearish here. We don't want to see it go higher than this high anymore. Because if it goes higher than this high, that's going to be problematic for the down movement. And you guys see how we just tested that level? With this candle, we came up, tested that level, and it rejected right away pretty hard. So I like to see that. I don't want to see it go any more higher than this line that we have here. Okay, it should not go higher than this high here anymore. And it should just come back down. For sell side, I mean, we did take this sell side out, so we'll see right now if it rejects somewhere around here. Because if it starts going higher now, then it's going to go up for this high and this high up here. We want to see it remain below. Pretty much the blue line, below the blue line, or this high here. We start expanding higher, then yeah, that's going to be it for the down movement. There's not going to be any more down movement, and it's going to start heading higher. Yeah, you're welcome, Santiago. Okay, so I think the high, yeah. So that's pretty much game over for the bears now, or the bearish movement. I don't think it's going to go any lower anymore. It should not come back lower than the blue line here, and it should just reach up for the buy side here. Right after that buy side, we have a bit of an imbalance here as well. I'll just mark the high there, right there. And obviously the equal highs here as well. Okay, so overall we've marked out the buy movement so far, and then the retracement it's supposed to have, which it had here, a retracement, and then pretty much marking out this new higher high in here. So we'll see if it starts expanding higher to try to reach for the equal highs above here. And like I said earlier, if it's going to keep on going higher, it should not come back down into this level anymore. It should just possibly at the most consolidate inside of this body, this last up candle here that we created, and keep on going higher. And out of all the three of the indices right now, Nasdaq should be the one that's going to be the most bullish today. Really going much higher than the others. I'm just going to take these lines off since we already used them. The only buy side liquidity left would be this one here, and it looks like we just got there. So that buy side liquidity has been hit. And if we look at the 15-minute, I mean, there was a lot of choppiness since we've started the New York session. Really ugly price action. But we were still able to maneuver around what price should start doing. Yeah, I think Nasdaq could still head higher, a lot higher. Let's look at the daily time frame once again. If you look at the daily time frame, we have a huge gap in here. Which we tested on Friday from last week. Came back down. Monday was a bank holiday yesterday, so there wasn't really much movement. And we had Tuesday here that came down into these lows and inside of an imbalance. We've since then rejected that imbalance throughout all this mud in here, all this muddy price action. Came up higher, taking out this high, retraced down, which what I called in today's session, taking out the high, retracing down, and then we've since then head higher for this buy side here. If it's going to keep on going higher, it has to remain above the blue level that we have here. And if it does keep on going higher, then possibly throughout the week, we might see it test that daily gap that I outlined above here, which is this here. We might test the bottom of it, and that would be good enough for me as a weekly objective for NASDAQ. Since we are barely starting September, we barely finished the month of August, which is a really lackluster type of month. We would want to wait for the markets to start getting back its volume. So the first week of September could be a little muddy, just like August. But right after September, we should start really seeing some good price action in the markets. And on the 1 minute time frame, it looks like it's moved a lot, it's done a lot. But once you start heading out for like the 1 hour, you could see that it's kind of still in the range. But ultimately, I think we should continue our uptrend that we've had since August 23rd here. We might still just shake around in this small little range that we have in here still, though, before we actually start moving out towards higher prices. But ultimately, I believe the buy side liquidity that price wants to head towards is right up there on the long-term perspective. Okay, so you guys can see that there actually is an imbalance in here. I'll mark that for you. What I would like for it is if price could just leave this area here open and just keep possibly consolidate above it, but not fill the full imbalance here. Because if it starts filling this imbalance, it's not going to be really good for the bullishness for NASDAQ. It should just stay above it without even going inside of it and just keep trading higher. And this small retracement is fine. It doesn't really have a lot of importance. But we don't want to see it really come back inside of this here if it's going to go higher. Because especially if it fills it all completely, that's why I'm saying this blue line. It should keep price above. It should keep price above this blue line. Because if we go through this blue line, then now it's really going to want to head for the sell side. But eventually, we want to see price stay above the shaded area that we have here. And it could spike just a little bit to it, or maybe halfway, but we don't want to see it fully complete. Let's see if this next 5-minute candle, we start actually pulling up into the highs here. And actually we have a new hourly candle that opened just right now, which is the 11 o'clock hour. What I would like to see for it to keep on going higher is if this candlestick doesn't come back and wick down anymore. If we want to see this open and just keep on going higher, just like how I mentioned earlier on the 1 minute time frame, which was on this candle here. I mentioned I don't want to see it come back up and wick higher. We just want to see strongly go lower. That's the exact same thing I would like to expect here for this candle, this hourly candle that's trading. And so far it's doing so. As I mentioned, it's leaving this imbalance open, and the 1 hour candle just opened up and started trading higher. So we want to just keep on, we want to see it just keep on trading higher and higher. We don't want to see it come back down and turn this up candle into a down candle anymore. So now we went higher than the previous high, and we want to see it keep expanding higher now. I forgot what this level here was. Oh yeah, it was the high here. Yeah, okay. So you want to see it reach for that level again, above here. And as you guys can see, the imbalance was never traded to. We were being higher above the imbalance and started going higher, taking out this high here and expecting it to reach for this level once again. Looks like it touched it. It's pretty close to it. There we go. Now I went through it. Okay, so now we went through that level. The next buy side would be above here. Which is our next level buy side. Let's just take a look at the other indices real quick. And as I mentioned, if you remember that I mentioned earlier about probably 10 minutes ago, I said that the strongest index to the upside today was going to be NASDAQ. And you can see how NASDAQ has been really going a lot higher, while S&P is kind of consolidated still in the 1 hour. And US 30, US 30 just doesn't want to get out of bed. It's just like, no, I'm just going to stay asleep here. But yeah, we could see how really NASDAQ has been going a lot higher. reaching above its buy side liquidity above here. And then our last level for today, or at least for this morning session for buy side liquidity would be this high. Okay. After this high gets taken out, don't have too much high expectations of this just ripping all the way up. Okay, because that's what most new traders would expect, and that's the worst part that you could have, just having too much expectations on a price run. Okay, especially right now in the morning session, we only have one more hour left to the morning New York session. I mean, it could still go above into these highs throughout the day, but for now, for this morning session, don't expect too much, because we're about to have the last hour. I mean, we are in the last hour of the morning session now, so possibly the next half hour we could still keep on trading higher, but after 1 hour, I don't think we shouldn't need to keep on going any much higher. We could possibly just consolidate or have sorry, I started getting the hiccups. And we possibly could, after taking this high out, we could possibly just consolidate or retrace back inside of the range that we created in the morning session. I do, however, would like to see price, once we open the next hourly candle, I would like to see price remain above this line in here. If it goes lower at the most, it should be just trade into the 5-minute imbalance that I outlined earlier. But it should not go any much lower than that if it's going to keep on going higher for the week. Okay. In other words, if we do trade below this here and in a closing basis, we close under it, then it's going to just, that's going to be the high for the week. And it's possibly just going to come down for these lows here and the lows that I was talking about earlier in the session down here. So far, has anything of what I've talked to you guys about today, has anything made sense so far? Are you liking the live session? Oh, now it's really, really expanding for that buy side right there. Thanks, Manuel. Glad you like it. Yeah, we'll be doing Spanish tomorrow, so don't worry, guys. I'll be covering both languages for this mentorship. But all right, I think I'm gonna close it off for today. I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. Just remember, just watch the buy side liquidity here. I think we should be able to trade through that without a problem. After about once we hit 11:30 to 12, I think we could start having, like I said, either consolidation or retracement down after we've taken this buy side here. Overall, throughout the day, we could reach out for this daily gap, though, like I mentioned. I mean, it looks like on the daily time frame, it looks like it already did the manipulation down here, coming down below these equal lows, and then expanding higher. So we could expect it to keep, for price to keep expanding higher into the uptrend that it's starting to form here. Long term, we have the buy side up above here, and then possibly this one up here. But first, we would need to get through the gap here once again, this high, and then the top end of the gap as well, for us to reach that imbalance, or not imbalance, but that buy side liquidity once again. I mean, it's not that bad. It was just a bad at the early session here. How it was just really sloppy and consolidated, but now it's left. It's pretty much did all the damage down here. Pretty much any trader that was trading this, they probably already got hurt, and now they're probably scared of taking any trades here. So now markets, that's why markets started moving up higher with a lot of volume after it's done all this back and forth here, because a lot of traders would pretty much scared of taking the buys here, because if you look at the highs here, we have this high here that we took out, and then it came back inside of the range. So any breakout trader that would have possibly taken a breakout trader there out with this price actually coming back inside. And then this high here, if they attempted to break, taking a buy here with this breakout again, they probably would have gotten hurt there once again, and then here once again with this wick, and then finally the real move happened right afterwards. But I mean, it's not, when you see this type of price action, it's better to just not just analyze and just look to see what price is doing and not take a trade. But Tuesdays are mainly good days. The days I really don't like to trade at all are Mondays. Actually, Mondays is like when I really don't really. I've had in the past experience a lot of bad experience when I trade on Mondays. So that's why I decide not to trade Mondays anymore, really. And that's why throughout September we're only doing live sessions from Tuesday to Friday and not doing Mondays at all, for that very same reason. But I mean, today's not, I wouldn't say it's a bad day. It was just a bad beginning of the session. They were pretty much, the market was trying to get everybody out that was trying to buy this run here, which we got the run after about 10:30 was when the run started. The actual run started going higher. Yeah, I would rather just analyze Monday, see what Monday's trading does, and that gives you more insight to what price action should do throughout the week. But that's gonna be all for today, guys. Well, just keep this level in your charts to see if we actually trade through it. I think we should, and we should not go any. I don't think we should go lower than this high in here, and definitely not lower than this imbalance if it's going to keep on going higher for this high here. But taking consideration what I've talked about today in the live session, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Spanish live session as well. Each live session will be uploaded to a different YouTube channel. Okay, this live session, since it's in English, it's going to be uploaded to the English YouTube channel. And tomorrow's live session, since it's going to be in Spanish, it's going to be uploaded to the new Spanish channel that I created yesterday. So that's going to be all for today. And I hope to see you guys soon, hopefully tomorrow. And have a nice day. Thanks. Take care too. You're welcome, guys. See you guys soon. Have a good one.